We always have fun in whatever we do, and you go with a passion no matter what it is. So my life and things is just simply the passion. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to, it's not money first. It's going to be beautification. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to figure out how to make as much money as I can. Don't you let me fool you. Understand? I am absolutely a capitalist. I admit, but I won't be first. That won't be first. I'm going to be a capitalist. I have to have a goal, a plan. By way of example, I started building optimist clubs in these places. I built the Rosa Parks Optimist Club right out of there. On Oakman 4505 Oakman, I built the Oakman Grand River Optimist Club because they adopted Drew Elementary School right there on Wyoming and Chicago. As I build them, I've built in apartment buildings. I've built my Optimist Clubs right out of there because I'm a builder. I build Optimist Clubs in the world. You understand? So, why am I saying all of this here? It's just not about the money. Like, I can show you how to get the money. But what else goes with this here? Is there a passion? Is there, you understand what I mean? I mean, what is it? Give me a niche. Come on. This is what I'm looking for. The whole thing. Because I tell you something, you can get tired if you ain't got passion. You can say, the hell with this. You understand what I mean? Just try to do 4 or 5 deals and they don't work. You'd be ready to quit. You understand what I mean? But if you're passionate and you say, no, I'm going to do this one, buddy. You'll stay there and you'll make your deal and you'll keep making. And then you said, look, these deals get easy now, but you got to break the ice. You make your deal and you keep making your deal. So along with everything, there's passion. Now, the kind of deals you're going to do, you can specialize. You could specialize in net leases and just start off trying to learn the net leases. The state of Michigan, Walgreens, CVS's. The guy that bought the Walgreens from me across the street, he put a mortgage on the building for $5.5 million, but he only paid me $5 million. Or our group, it was 3 of us. He only paid us $5 million. He made $500,000 on us, man. I wanted to cancel the deal, but I couldn't. Now think about that. If you could sit back in your office and just do net leases all day, net leases all day, you know what I'm saying? But you had to have a different angle. If I was doing net leases, I would send letters to corporations to encourage them to consider the net leases and things like that and show them the benefit. Because these Walgreens and CVS's and Rite Aids that are out here and Lowe's and Home Depots, I mean, they got tremendous cap rates, 5.5%, 6%. I mean, they're very, 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 very low. They matches their bonds. If their bonds go for 5 or 6% in the marketplace, the leases could go for less than the bonds because the bonds are debentures. Debentures are unsecured debt. A lease got a real estate building and their guarantee. It got their guarantee. So that is a very good thing to just sit back and calculate how to do net leases. But you're going to have to learn the game. You're going to have to read about it. You're going to have to get up on it. You're going to have to become part of the Retailers Association. And we go to the ISCS every year, International Shopping Center Convention in Vegas. I'm going out there in May if anybody want to go. You understand what I mean? I have to go anyway. Because I do have enough retail that I gotta go out there. I go out there for 2 days because I don't like being in Vegas long. You understand what I mean? I really don't, man. You understand? I like to go to Vegas, get out of Vegas. You understand? Try to get out of Vegas. You understand? Whew. But anyway, I'll be going back out there in May. You understand? Going out there, and we're gonna make some deals and do things. But if you're gonna do the retail, if you're gonna do the net lease, that's where you're gonna end up being at. Okay? Now, apartment buildings, you don't have to go to a convention to make your deals. You understand what I mean? And you don't have to know the retailers, and you're kind of in charge, kind of. I like being a landlord. It's kind of like I don't need anybody and they all need me. Now, I know that's a hell of a thing to say. You understand what I mean? It's like this lady on TV with the credit. Yeah, just ask me, Jill. Hey, you should ask me what you could do for me next. I got great credit. Look, being a landlord of a multifamily is empowerment because the supply and demand factor is in your favor. They want it. I mean, we have virtually no vacancies, hardly nowhere, maybe 1 or 2, period. The market is full. Right now the market is full. It's a great time to be in the marketplace. Now, it's not always like this, you know. They start laying off again, they get a little soft and blah, blah, blah. And that's when the retail is king. Because those big, powerful companies, they ride through the storm. You understand? They don't take the dips. Some of the marginal ones fall out. But you see the stronger tenants, those strong commercial tenants, they ride right through the storm. And you can ride with them. Some of them, yes, do take their hits, and some of them go out of business, but very, very few. I think a lot of retailers haven't really went out of business during the recession. You understand? A lot of realtors and us over leveraging and the developers. I mean, you know, everybody got smacked. If you're a developer, because don't forget, you got all these land loans, all this cash out. I had millions of dollars out. And you're not developing? You're just paying interest? You know, I mean, it's a whole interesting thing. And the whole thing about it, it ain't gonna get developed for a very long time, buddy. You know, some of this stuff here be another 5 years before it get developed. But it is coming back, and it is bouncing back strong. So there are pluses and minuses. The supply and demand factor, you always got you plenty of people waiting to move in an apartment. Retail is very, very specific, but once you get them, you get your big tenants, you can really go for it. I just don't want you to make little plans. Don't make any little plans. If you're gonna go for something big. And the stuff in Detroit probably is advantageous always, because people tend to overlook it. Now I put together the K-Market 7 Mile in Myers. You understand? Because they wanted out of that deal. They wanted out of that deal. They agreed to pay 8% a square foot, which was too low. We didn't make any money. We used the whole $8 to finance the acquisition, the entire $8. We made our money on the overages, $100,000, 110 grand. That's what my church made on overages. But they want it out. So likewise, there are a lot of opportunities. Hey, D, how you doing, man? So there's a lot of opportunities. But don't make any little plans, and don't make with no little stuff, because it ain't worth it at the end of the day. Little bitty deals ain't worth it. You understand? The bigger the deal, the better the deal, the easier it is to do, the easier it is to finance. Most lenders don't want to mess around with nothing little. Commercial, you can't walk in with nothing $200,000. Who's going to bother it? You understand? Ain't nobody going to bother, because they want to make $200,000 in fees. Not loan $200,000 and make $10,000 or something like that. No. You know, they want a minimum $5 million, $3 million. They got to be money. It just can't be. So you got to think big. Can you jump on that right away and start doing it? It is possible. But usually you kind of work your way up through there, but it is possible. Now, apartment buildings give you a chance to get in and get going, because it's a transition. You can get a house, a single house. It's the same thing. Pay rent, you do the repairs, you take them to court, they don't pay you, put them out, you re-rent it. You understand what I mean? Now you get your apartments. It's the same exact thing, but you can start with one house. That's the good thing. You start with one house and you can build it up. You can trade your houses in, get your apartment building. You understand what I mean? You can just leverage it up. You can trade in your houses. You can use them for down payments and get them back, because nobody really want them. But the lender's going to want to see you got equity, see you get into deals. So I chose apartments. Now, so historically speaking, let's just go back. I have a burning desire to do apartments. I'm tired of selling these houses. I'm the #1 lister in the city of Detroit, but I was up to here. I didn't want to list nothing else. You understand? I said, I want to make me some real deals. Now, this was before most of y'all was born. You understand what I mean? Nixon was being impeached. It was 1974, and I opened Strather Associates. You understand? I opened at 17725 West McNichols, right west of, east of Southfield Freeway initially. Nice little office, and I said, no, this was really in January of 75, I'm sorry, because in 74, I was a public adjuster. You know what that is? A fire chaser. You understand? So just historically, I worked at Bowers. I got out of Bowers in like 72, and I went to IDS. I went to IDS for a year or so, and I got hired by a public adjuster. I had a Mark IV. I mean, it was cool. I mean, and that was it. But these people burning up buildings and stuff, and me, I'm a public adjuster. I didn't want to play the game. I want to protect the homeowner, so I wouldn't let them sign up with the chasers who would want it one check, for example, because when they get through fixing their house up, ain't nobody going to sign nothing the way they fix the house up. You understand what I mean? But if your content check is mixed up with the building check, You're forced to sign. That's how they got paid. Not me. I said, no, buddy. I'm separating these checks. You understand me? I still smell fire in this house, you understand? What did you do to the rafters up there? When it rained, I mean, it's bad, right? Man, they hated me. They said, well, we ain't giving you no business, buddy. So you know what? I said, I don't care. Classy anyway, you understand? But the FBI, somebody came in the industry, going to arrest everybody. And I just cried one day. I said, you know, God, I mean, he created me to be great. I was the #1 salesman. How did I get in this business? You understand? So anyway, I got out of that business. I'm going to become a broker. So I put out my sign and I started. I'm a broker. Now, if you're a commercial broker, I said I'm a commercial broker. I want to do apartments because I read Income Property Brokerage by John Peckham. That's the only thing I got. I didn't get me. I didn't get somebody to talk to me like this. You understand? I got the book. I read the book and did exactly what he said every day. You understand? But I had to read and eat at the same time. So I was reading and doing everything. I started off. It wasn't like I read the book and then going to do what he said. No, I read and worked all day and read all day. So in about 30 days, I had pretty much read the book and put my deal together. But here's what happened. I started on Tireman. That's where the city started. Tireman in Greenfield. So obviously my very first deal was on Tireman, 15311 Tireman, then 14800 Tireman, and then 14240 Tireman, just up and down Tireman. And then Greenfield, 7711 Greenfield was the very first one. That's the first apartment building north of Warren, then straight up Greenfield. You understand? Just right down Greenfield. So everything on Greenfield, but we pretty much started on Greenfield around Finkel, pretty much not that much south. So apartment buildings, but how do I do this? How do I put it together? First building was on Myers and 6 Mile, 190 units. Hartman and Tyner owned it. They bought it in 68. This was 77, and I want to buy a big building. I had just bought my first building, which was really cool, on Sussex and Finkel, and I was able to finance it and just get refinancing. So I made a relationship with a lender. That's why I tell you, you got to get a relationship with a lender, credit union, wherever you got to get a relationship. You won't even feel good unless you know you can do it. Unless you know you can get financing, what are you doing? You roaming around? What you doing? You understand? You need a relationship with a lender. Now, and let me tell you something. It doesn't have to be your balance sheet all the time. It can be somebody else's balance sheet. You understand? Because they want to do business. They want you to bring them business. You understand? So, I developed a relationship with a lender, and I developed a relationship with a guy named Grenadier. Why? Because he had a building on Greenfield. He had the biggest buildings. I was going up and down Greenfield. I called him up, gave him an offer, and he liked me. He says, you know what? I said, I want to net lease your building. He said, I won't net lease it, but I'll let you manage it. I said, okay. Now that was a mistake. Because I didn't know what I was doing. Hell, be manager, you got to be crazy. You turned over your 78-unit development to me. No way. That was the biggest development on Greenfield, and a serious mistake. The tenant's going to start a strike, everything, So I gave that back to them. You understand? So, buyers at 6 Mile. Rents were $100 less. Rents was running for $150 a month. And they should have been $250. Isn't that really funny now? Because they're $600, it's $550 now. But anyway, what in the heck? I was thinking to myself, all this money. So 190 units, the gross rents were $30,000 a month. That's all. On 190 units, $30,000 a month. So I realized that if I just raised it $100, I started calculating what I would make. You understand? It'd be like $50,000 a month. I was so greedy in my little head. But I had to buy the building first, so very simple. Back then, it wasn't mortgages. So I got my good friend, Grenadier. I went back in and I said, look, I got a deal, man. It's a hell of a deal. I said, we could buy this deal for $1.7 million. And look, you put $100,000 in the bank, all right? And the bank is going to loan us $200,000. And they'll take your $100,000 as collateral. And they'll also take an assignment of the land contract. It's like a second mortgage. So you get interest on your money, you still keep it there. Now the write-off itself runs about $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year, and you're in the 50% tax bracket, you save $50,000. It was a little bit more, it's about $150,000 a year. So you saved about $75,000 because you're in the 50% tax bracket. Well, wait, I'm going to invest $100,000 and I'm going to save $75,000 in taxes alone. Plus, I still got my CD. That's a good deal. So I did that, and I did that over and over and over and over and over. I did it 12 times. The first time in December 1977. So by December 1978, I had $25 million worth of real estate, 1,100 units, and I wasn't playing around. You understand what I mean? So I was doing it really fast because I focused on what I was doing. But then came the recession. The recession then, interest rates started climbing, and they didn't stop. They hit 20%, and all of my real estate was tied to prime. Can you imagine what I was going through? It was a hell of a deal, tied to prime. I didn't know what to do, and I had my bills piling up, and I had this file. I call it the start with an F. You understand? File. But every time I put it in there, I would say that. I just put it like that. Cussing is therapeutic. It's good. Just wait till you cuss somebody off real good. How you feel? Oh, shit. You understand what I mean? So it's very therapeutic, God. I can tell you that. You know, it may not be the most Christian thing to do, but it is therapeutic. So anyway, I had to do something. I got rid of all my real estate, and I started selling something. I had all up stuff up and down Greenfield. So I sold 16225 Greenfield. It was an awful thing. I got some money. I said, I ain't selling nothing else. Because anytime I needed money, I bought something. Think every time you buy, you get fees and all this kind of stuff. So why would you ever sell anything, you fool? I said, don't sell nothing else. I ain't selling nothing, ever. Just when I want something, I buy it. That's when I made the idea that selling was a sucker deal. You understand? So, but I had to put it aside, and I had to be a real broker now. Now look here, I'm still in my 20s, right? No, 51, 81. Yeah, I'm still 28, 29. So now I got to make a name for myself in real life. And interest rates is 20%, 50% tax bracket. I knew that much. So I did the Hunter's Ridge transaction. Now I've told you all the story so many times I won't bore you, but Hunter's Ridge was $43 million, took $1 million down, and the write-off was $8 million in a year. $8 million worth of write-off depreciation. You know, it was 487 units on 14 Mile in Northwestern or Orchard Lake Road, had 150 vacancies. It was a condo, a failed condo conversion. So it had 453 units that wasn't sold. Only 34 units were sold. And I had to figure out every step of the way. And it was a war. As soon as the tenants found out, the 34 tenants that had bought, not the homeowners found out the Hartman and Tyner was buying it, it was a war. They all sued at once. And they said they all sued. So the lawyer, he would always meddle with me. What you gonna do now, Strather? What you gonna do now, Strather? What you gonna do now, Strather? And I said, I'll figure it out. I figured it out. I went to Herb. I said, Herb, look, if they sue you, don't defend it. Let them have it. I made a deal with the bank. If they sue you, get a judgment, the bank will buy them out and sell it to you on the same terms as sold you those. Oh, the 100%. He says, okay. He said, I ain't gonna defend it. So they withdrew the lawsuit. You understand what I mean? They smelled the rat. But we closed that deal. That deal was $43 million. I made a $350,000 fee. And it was tough because they wasn't gonna pay me. I'm the only little black kid in the whole room. You understand what I mean? And this is when faxes first came out. They created something called a fax. First time, it was 3 in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning, we were trying to close the deal because people were in Switzerland. It was all over the world. This was American Invesco. They were the biggest condo converters in the world. And me putting the deal together, sitting there making the deal happen, right? So all of a sudden, they didn't want to pay me my fee. Well, I left. Well, no, everybody left. I was mad. So this is a lesson. Your fee. Don't let nobody take your fee. When I walked in there with Herb Tyner, I said, here, Herb, with Charlie, I said, Charlie, I want to buy Village Square, you put the 100 up. The lawyer said, no, you messed up the last deal. Remember? You couldn't manage it. I said, I ain't going to be mad. I said, you know what? I've gotten better. So they went with me too. But the lawyer says, no. I said, I'm out of here. See y'all later. See you later. And my man said, hey, I'll go with her. Yeah, okay. So I got 50% of the deal and made a $35,000 fee. That was the only reason I was so stupid, only making a $35,000 fee. I didn't know how to get paid. Today, I would make a $200,000 fee to do a transaction like that. I get paid 10%. You understand? But I would structure the deal that I'm worth it. Right. In other words, it depends on how you structure a transaction. You understand? Now, he paid $2,250,000 and he put $450,000 down. I bought it for him for $1,910,000. $1,985,000. I paid $9 a unit. I think it was $1,985,000, some crazy number. 180, 190,000 down, completely 100% leverage transaction. I leveraged every deal like that. So in other words, my partners just put some cash in the bank and signed. So pretty soon I got good. So I need 100 grand down. I charged $100,000 commission. I ended up doing the deal myself, out of my fee, putting it down, however I did it. I have to pull the file. But what I figured out is I could do it myself. I'm going to charge a $100,000 commission, and then, did I charge a $200,000 commission? I would have to look at the deal, but essentially I charged a big fee. I put that fee up as collateral. And I used it to borrow, do exact same everything everybody else did. Now, when I started off, I couldn't sign because I was the weaker credit guy. But at the end of the day, I could sign anything I wanted to. You understand what I mean? So you have to progress in this business too. I don't care what your financial situation is. I don't give a shit. You understand? I hate to say it like that. But, I add all y'all up. Who cares? I could drop 90 million. Y'all could drop 90,000. Is that okay? Is that fair? Okay, that's fair. Okay, now, so here's how the deal eventually goes. It had to be financed. So my whole life I'm financing. So of course, going through the years there, I did that deal, and then I did Republic Development deal. The 1,600 units I sold to E.F. Hutton. Related is University of Michigan, Steve Ross. I sold a deal, 65 million. I made a 2% commission, $1,265,000, something like that. I was back in business then. You understand what I mean? Oh, yeah. It only took me 2 or 3 years, but I was back in business because I was focused and I structured deals that made sense. So the whole deal is the art of structuring a transaction. If you could structure transactions all day, you'd be the richest, most powerful guy around. Just think about it. You find a deal, structure the deal. People put their money in. They don't have to put the money in. Sometimes they just sign a note and take cash out. Isn't there something? You could structure a deal, nobody put no money in, all they have to do is sign and take cash out and own the asset? How's that? Is that a good deal? But even if you structure deals where you go into a deal where you got 3% down. Now, if something's really skinny, I'm going to it with a down payment because it's so skinny. Because you get your money back the same year just from write-off or cash flow. If it's a skinny transaction, when I say skinny, I'm talking about 5%, 7% down, that's it. You understand? And you control the whole asset. You got 95% leverage. I'll take leverage from 95 to 125. So if I got 125% leverage, what does that mean? What does that mean?
125% of the value of the property.
Yeah, what does it mean if I said I got 125% leverage? What did I do?
Over leverage it. You leverage it for more than what it's worth.
Right. In other words, I borrow more, no, not for more than what it's worth. You understand? More than what I paid for. Right. You understand? Because you're not going to leverage it more than what it's worth now. Probably not. You understand? Although I could have the ability to do that, but the banks got ratios and they got common numbers. If somebody show you an apartment building and it's now 4,000 a unit, get immediately suspicious. You understand? It's going to be 4,000 a unit to operate that bad boy. You understand? It's just as simple as that. The gas is going to run you, gas right now, the utilities are going to run you $1.50.
So are we talking 1 bedroom units or are we talking 2 bedrooms?
For what?
For the 4,000 a month in expense.
A 1 bedroom will cost you. Even a 1 bedroom in reality. Now, but there are certain ratios you're going to have. Like, for example, per year. $4,000 per unit per year is going to be operating expenses. Now, somebody may show you something to run 33, 34, but there's no management fees, there's no this, it's not standard, there's all kind of crazy stuff. The lenders ain't going to go with all the crazy stuff. You know why? Because if they have to take it over, they're going to use standard management practices. They're not going to go for 3% management fee. They're going to go for 6% management fee. They're going to go for $1,000. They're going to go with $1,000 per unit for payroll, for example. They're going to go with $1,200 per unit for utilities, for example. They're going to go with $200 per unit for reserves. They don't care what you come up with. If you come up with any crazy number, you can't finance those crazy numbers. So you better know their language. What is it that they want? So now we've been through all of this here. We finance deals, we borrow deals, we done gift sales. I sold 2 501c3s. I bought from 501c3s. I've done every deal, every way, but it's not true. I've only begun because every deal is different. That's right. So this morning I did a deal. Now, Saturday I met with the person. I talked to him. I told him I could get to you Saturday, and I'm going to go over this deal. This is what we're going to study in class. I told you that we do studying Is that in the freezer?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay. Is it cold?
Yes, it is, sir.
This one it don't. This one it don't. I'm going to be breaking in a minute. But let me tell you the good news. I'm going to give you something to make your eyeballs pop out. Because you're going to see the very beginning of a transaction. And exactly what my thought was. What you're going to go inside of my brain. And I'm going to give you something that ain't nobody going to really give you. I bet you a question. Do you really think a developer is going to show you how they do their deals? No. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Of course they're not going to show you. Hell no. You understand? I couldn't imagine. But I'm going to show you, because everybody do it differently now, too. Everybody do it different based on the capability. I mean, if, you know, my daughter may not leverage as much as she wants because she got a balance sheet, let's say. Me, I had no balance sheet, hell, and no credit. No balance sheet, no credit. But brain power, and the burning desire. That's what it takes to understand how the transaction go, to be creditable. You may not have credit, but you better have credibility. You understand? Because somebody, you're not honest, you ain't going no place. You understand? I can tell you that right now. So, and you got to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing. It's important that you do the right thing. This is important. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get inside of my head, and we're going to go over a transaction. The transaction is really simple. It's 68 units. And I'm going to say it's 7 Mile Apartments because I don't want to give the exact addresses out. I got a little hot water last week about that, okay? What I do want to talk about, though, I got the pictures and let you see and you'll understand the transaction. You probably have seen the building. I'm sure you have. You understand? You say, I know where that building is at. And that's okay. But I want to take and be able to go with you over the transaction. I got to explain to you something about where it's located so you get the flavor of what the deal is, how it's going to be put together. But I want y'all to sit back and take note. Now, what we're going to talk about is a bargain gift sale. Now, here's a couple items here. And I would like for you to read it. That's one right there. Yeah, we have some more of these? Yes.
It's only because he didn't sign
Oh, he didn't sign in, Devin. If you signed in, you would have got it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask for a 10-minute deal, and you'll have a chance to get you some water or some pop or whatever. You got that?
in. That's right. Thank you, sir.
And you can have a chance to read this. You can have a chance to relax because you're fixed to hear something and witness something very few eyeballs have ever seen. You understand? All right. Good enough. And everybody going to have... Okay, I want to start with the structure of a gift sale. Now, under a normal gift sale, so we can explain it, you get cash and you get a write-off. If it's worth $1 million and you give 30% of it away, you donate 30% for $1, and then you get $700,000 in cash. So you get a write-off for the $300,000. Now, if you got a mortgage for $700,000, it's the same as cash. It doesn't matter. If it's an encumbrance or if it's cash, it's the exact same thing. Now, but if you were to do that, if a lender goes to the bank and they got the property for 60% and they wanted to do some financing, or if you were part of a 501c3, they got it for 60% rather than 100%, the bank would still want you to put some money down because they want you to put 20% down on the market value or the purchase price, whichever is less. I want y'all to follow me now, right? So even though it was a gift sale, you still put money down. Now, is there a way to finance a transaction where you don't have to put the money down?
Yeah.
Well, how would you do such a thing?
You'd have to raise the value of the property.
Raise the value of the property?
Yeah.
Now, it can only go for what the appraiser is going to appraise it for, and you're going to max that out anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so So, but even if you raise the value of the property, don't forget the lender's going to say whichever is less, what you bought it for, or or the appraised value, whichever is less. But so whatever you bought it for, they say, okay, just put 20% of that down. But you still got to put the 20% down. You understand? Now, there is a way that you can do this without having to put any money down. Now, of course, the lender is not going to let you take any cash out. Now, you know that, right? I mean, the lender is not going to knowingly let you sit up and take cash out. It's not practical. They will not allow such a thing from a policy way. Now, the question I have to ask, is there a way you could take some cash out? If it is, how? So y'all can figure this one out a little bit. Structure? Construction. Construction, you can make money on, but you're supposed to make money on construction too.
So that'd be repairs to the building?
Yeah, because that's part of the acquisition. You buy it, you're going to fix it up. Construction is very much so. Now, you could be the contractor. You might have you some rich numbers too. You understand what I mean? But there is money there, but you don't forget you got to work. Okay, come on, tell me something else. How else can you take money out?
Even on the construction though, someone has got, you got to put money in, right?
Yeah, so I mean, let's say your budget is $700,000 you got in the mortgage, and it costs you $450,000. You make $250,000. But let's go over construction. Let's talk about construction. I told you I'm a public adjuster. That means I do estimates, I do appraisals, I do technical valuations for American Society of Appraisers. So you go to court, you need an expert, you call me, and I go sit there and I argue the point. And they pay me a fee for doing this, okay? So now, let's say that the material cost is $25,000. Based on that, what would a normal contractor make if the material cost is $25,000? Can somebody tell me?
3 times material.
Huh?
3 times the material.
You think so? Anybody else? How much? Just give me a number. $25,000. 50? That's not possible. 50 because the labor is going to be that much. Okay. Excuse me.
So it's at least 3 times, is that what we're saying?
It's 4 times. Very simple. Because labor equals material. Now let's say that's 50. Now, you do them with Mist and all them, you know, they're going to clip your wings, you end up with 75. Yeah, you would be right. But I'm a fire contractor. I double. So I'm greedy. You understand what I mean? That's the way I'm used to it. Material and labor equal each other. That's why I don't have to go and bang my head. I said, well, what's the material cost? What's the labor cost? You're too high. Oh, come on, man. No, just period. I ain't paying that. I don't pay it. Material and labor. Now, there's a mixture difference with the painting. We can talk about the painting. Separate the painting. You understand? And they can't go out and get me no expensive material. And let's say if they go get a bargain, I still would say, okay, they can argue. Well, look, man, this is a bargain, man. I got it for 30% off. That means I'm going to take 30% less. We can argue and negotiate. But those two, for starters, equal each other. And then you can justify, okay? And then double the money for your profits.
The labor and the materials each other?
Always.
Materials equal.
So it's not 4 times, the labor is not 4 times?
No. And this is where it's very important. You're sitting out here negotiating for a contractor to do work. Don't let them be blowing smoke up your butt.
Right.
Labor and material equal the same, sir. The only basic difference is the painting.
Right.
The painting, you know, I would say for sure 2 to 3 times what the paint is. It depends on how cheap you get the paint. You know, I'm only going to pay them so much. You understand? But I would say 2 to 3 times what the paint is it. Somewhere in that range, 2 to 3 times of what the actual paint is. So,
That's typical.
now, but this
That's
is,
not extra stone.
oh, see, but the answer is that construction, you got a lot of leeway. Yeah. You got a lot of leeway. So, yeah, you could get your money out of construction. So that's a fee you can get from performing services. What other service can you provide to get paid? What? Come on.
Consulting?
How about me? What am I?
Yeah, your fee, your personal.
I'm a broker, right? Okay, you can get a broker's commission. Now, how much broker's commission can you get?
3% split.
3 to 6.
No, you can get up to 10%. But can you get 20%?
That's usually,
No. There's no legal limit. You get a flat fee. If it's small, you can get something. You know, you say, no, I want $1,000. I don't give a shit what it sells for. $5,000, whatever. My fee is $1,000 flat. So if something sold for $4,000, you still get your $1,000 because you don't do nothing less than $1,000. So that's possible. You have a flat fee. But if you're buying and you're paying yourself, you can always get paid. Because one of the things you're going to need to put 10% in, because oftentimes you're going to need to use the fee, sometimes for equity. You never know. You walk in trying to get a deal on the front end, you never know what the requirement is going to be once you get in that deal. And you better make sure you had you some reserves someplace, because what happens all of a sudden if the lender says you're going to have to put 10 points down and you didn't figure it in? Where you going to get the money? Huh?
But what about, okay, so I'm not a broker, so I can't put 10% broker's fee, right?
No, you can't.
Okay.
But I'm not finished. What else?
Some banks allow for reserve accounts.
Reserve, now that's very clever. Now let me explain to you. If you offer the bank the money first as a reserve, that's very good. Because they ain't gonna let you walk away with it. You just say, listen, we're gonna stabilize this project, so I'm gonna take a 1-year debt service and until the project gets 150% debt coverage ratio. Do you know what debt coverage ratio 150% is? We'll go over that. That means that whatever my mortgage payment is, I get 150% times. It makes 150% times that. If my mortgage payment is 60 grand a year, that means the project makes 90,000. That means it's 150% debt coverage. If it makes 120,000, that's a 200% debt coverage, right? So you can put the money in a reserve, yes, and park it right there. Now that's postgraduate studies kind of stuff. You understand what I mean? Take the money, because they looking at the money. You ain't gonna take the money. So what you gonna do with this money? This money is for your protection. I'm gonna put this money here for debt service. They're not thinking about what happens after, but when that year or 5 or 2 or 3 years is over, guess what?
You take the,
And is it taxable?
No.
no.
Tax free. Do you see? And look how much it is. Look how much it is. Y'all writing these down?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to show you something to make your eyeballs pop out.
Wait, I've lost something.
Okay.
We're talking about making a transaction without putting in cash, so did not put some cash?
It's part of the sales price.
That is not putting in the cash. That is part of the mortgage proceeds. The cash is the mortgage proceeds.
No, I'm saying the amount that I'm putting up for the debt coverage, that I'm giving to the bank.
You're taking it out of the mortgage.
Okay.
You're not putting up anything. I'll show you how this goes.
So at closing, basically, they hold that back.
Yep, and it's just a line on the closing document. It's a line on the closing document, reserve. Right?
Okay, but you didn't put it there.
Yes. It comes out. You never get that. They just hold that reserve back.
Okay.
You would never get your hands on that. They'll take it before you touch it. You understand? They take everything, and whatever is left is yours. Excuse me. Sometimes they don't figure out what's left. So when they was last closing, they said, "Well, what we're going to do with this? Let's just move this into a reserve here." They said there's 157,000 left. I said, "Oh no. That goes into the operating account."
Yes.
They said, "An operating account." They said, "Well, I don't know how you made your deal." I said, "Oh yeah, I made my deal for the operating account." They said, "Well, okay, we'll check on this." I said, "Okay." They said, "Well," he said, "that's the deal you made, so it goes to operating account." Is that tax free? Yes.
Yes, that's that.
You understand? So now it moves to the escrow account. Now let's finish talking. We ain't finished. Well, how else can you make money and take it off the table? What else can you do?
You just said operating account. Is
Of
that-
course, let's go over what we said so far. We said a contractor, right?
Yeah.
We said a broker commission, right? We said a operating reserve account. What else?
Oh,
I got 2 more things.
so operating reserve and reserve, same thing.
Yeah. No, it could be different ones. It could be a debt service operating reserve, or it could be just an operating reserve. But it is for the benefit of the bank.
Okay.
And it makes them feel good. Just think about you walk up and tell the bank, I'm put up a year letter of credit, guarantee standby letter of credit to guarantee your mortgage payment. It sounds better than it is, because it's only 1 year. And that's whatever the interest debt constant is for that amount. But it sounds good. Guarantee you for the life of the loan. It will be for the life of the loan, long as it don't burn out in year 3 or something. You understand what I mean? But sincerely, if you did something catastrophic, the word will get around pretty quickly. You understand? The word got around with me is I refused to default, so I just kept paying like a fool. You understand what I mean? I kept paying $100,000 negative a month until I ran out of money because I had never in my life defaulted, and I wasn't going to default. But you know what? The recession was way tougher today. You understand what I mean? I should have defaulted a long time ago. The hell shit. I'll park and default and wait till this is over. So looking back on it, you know, you say, well, hell, could have kept that money, but that's okay. You know what? That's okay, you know. I remember after I default, I found at least $1 million later in different accounts and stuff. You understand? At least found me some extra money somewhere. You understand? That is a good thing about saying not paying too much attention. You understand? Because you lose all your money, you go find some. If that makes any sense at all. But it may not make any sense to you, but. Yeah. You got to answer 3 questions right first. You got to answer the questions right. You understand? Now, anybody that answer no, everybody that answers the question is entitled to get some water. You understand?
Okay, with it, so say like with the debt service part, and say if you just make your payments, do they have to give that money back to you after a year?
You don't make the payments. It sits there. You never. If you have to make the payments, everybody's in trouble. In other words, they said, we're going to sit here so you can feel comfortable. You understand? Because maybe we just got this. You don't know us yet. We could perform. We're some bad guys. We could turn this bad boy around. But you don't know me well enough yet. So here's my resume. Here's this and that. But I'm going to put up a full year's debt service too. You're going to put up a full. Now, anybody ever told them no shit like that? Believe me, they haven't. Who would walk up and say, I'm going to give you a full year's debt service in their right mind if they didn't ask for it? Are you crazy? You drinking or something? Now, you know, if that's your game, you got to carve out of your game the tools that you need to put the hooks in. And this is my game, so this is my hook. I show you my hook. I take you to my house. Everybody got a hook. You understand? Some people do like this, some do like this. I got 18 different hooks. You know what do you got? I got one hook like this, one like this, one goes this way, and then it hooks down. You understand? You've got to have a lot of different hooks, and they cannot be slick. Ain't nobody wants somebody slick. Now let's talk about how a deal would go. First of all, it starts with a performer. A picture and a performer. Now this is a picture of the building. And the grass needs cuts, so it's not a great, curb appeal looking thing, but the insides are fabulous. They've been completely renovated and the floors are just like glass. 3 buildings. 2 of the buildings are net leased for $29,000 a month. 1 check every month. That's for 2 buildings. The other building currently is empty, but 100% rent ready. Every unit is ready to move in. You can rent it out in 10 days at market rates.
Wow.
But they got an agency that want to take that building and rent the whole thing for 1 check. And that check goes only $10,000. Now 10 grand on 24 units is not a lot of money, but they pay the gas, the lights, the water, the maintenance, everything but the taxes and insurance. So that's pretty cool. You see what I mean? So actually you work it out. So they want to sell me this building. Now here's the issue here. Before I buy a building like this, you got to understand it's a sucker deal if you bite this fish. Because they're net leasing the building at the full rents. How about if they move out? Those leases roll over once a year because they're governmental. Governmental is only 1 year, and it's based on funding. If you don't get funding, you're out of business, buddy.
Exactly.
So you're out of business, and those units become empty. Now you got to rent them up. That's why you got to have that 1 year debt service there, sitting there, because it might happen, and you are thinking it through before they get to that conclusion. See, if you thought it through, they said, man, this guy really knows what he's doing. These people really know. They know the numbers. They know it. They don't have me guessing. I understand what they did. Dumb it down. Make it so super stupid. You understand? And they can figure it out, and they are impressed by you. And you use the right terminologies. You don't be using those stupid terminology. And you lay it out. So you make it logical. So now let's just follow my logic. This all started this morning at 5:11 a.m. because that's what time my clock said. Because I was going to play some racquetball. And my man, I beat him so bad. I really beat him bad. He said he overslept. You know, but sometimes you want to oversleep, but you done got your butt kicked. You understand? So let's look at this. Now, I'm going to start from the top. So I'm going to call it 7 Mile Apartments. That's not the name of the entity, but let's just call it that, okay? So I got 24 one-bedrooms and 22 bedrooms, and they rent for these amounts. And this is the annual amount. This is actual, and this is current normal condition. So these are the amounts they should rent for. Now this other one rent for $420, so it's $120. But under normal market conditions, it should rent for $194. And that's taking an average of these two rents and just averaging them out, because I'm not exactly sure what the mix is. But I'll put market rate so they'll know. So I actually don't have any managers here in this case. I have no managers. So it's 68 units. There you go. So I got a 5% management vacancy collection here. And I found out I was $1,000 off up here in my rents anyway, so it's cool. It's all covered by this 23. You would argue why you need any. I just have to have some, you understand? A little cushion. Because they're either going to pay it or not, but they couldn't go out of business. There is some risk involved. You know, you should have insurance to be properly covered, but under normal circumstances, it's 10%. So that's what it is, 10% of this number. 10% vacancy and collection. You try to collect in the hood from brothers. 10% vacancy collection. You understand what I mean? Let's get that straight right now. Don't go by that 5% stuff. That's Birmingham, you understand? Beverly Hills, you understand? Okay, other income is normally 4%, but most of that is late fees. So this ain't late fees. So here is laundry, that's all you get. Here, you get the 4% because it is late fees and everything. And it's 4% of the gross. This is how you figure it out, just highlight this, 4% of that number. So this is the gross income here, and this is gross income here. Normal market conditions, you would gross more because you wouldn't have this $420 a month per unit. Okay, so the taxes are 30 grand. Now the taxes, by the way, are not 30, they're about 18 because he got them really low. But I can't use 18 because as soon as the taxes I buy it, it's going to change it. Now let me tell you something. They would go more than 30, they go to 40. But before I buy it, I'm going to go down and talk to the assessor so let's fix to buy this. And so let's agree. And if we can't agree, hell no, I'm not buying it. I just want to know before we agree. If you sit there and buy a building and don't talk to the assessor, that's you. Wow. Do not do that. Say, always talk to the assessor.
Always talk to the assessor.
Good. See, now it's in your brain. It's in your brain. Yes.
I mean, is we just doing it by word, or you have to
Physically go down there.
Well, I know that. I mean, when y'all agree, is it just by word of mouth?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all it can be.
Okay.
Unless it's in February. But you may go there in April. You may go there in September. Now, you know, you're going to come back and remind them in January. You know, remember we did meet. You don't have amnesia, do you? You understand? Hell, we did meet. Okay, property
I
tax.
have a question related to that, though.
Go ahead.
The question is, there's nothing formal. It's just between
Nothing formal. It's a handshake.
Right.
You can't get it formal then. You can try, but you can't. You understand? There's a terrible story I'll tell you at the end of the day. It's a painful story for me and for them. But there was a mistake, and somebody's taxes went up $1 million. I'll tell you about that. It cost me too, by the way. Now, this little bar shows the formula. So this is B7 is here. Everything is tied to the 68 units. And $300 is a good price for insurance. Now let me explain. Theoretically, you should know these formulas, so you don't have to absolutely ask anybody anything. All you need is the unit mix and maybe what the renting for, and theoretically you have to know that. All you need to know is the unit mix. Count the units, you know what it is, and you know how many ones and twos, and then you can figure out what the market rents are in the neighborhood and figure out what the properties were. If you don't need anything else, because you can certainly find the taxes, that's public, insurance is $300, utilities is $1,200, but it's only 44 units I got here, and then on this one is $81,000, which is $1,200 on 68 units. You see what I mean? Because on one of these buildings, they're paying the utilities themselves. So I've had to adjust one column and explain it. Now, theoretically, I should have a tab, and one should say 44 units, 20 units, and then total. That's the right way to do it, but I'm a little hurried today. So I would have, let's say if one of y'all were working as an intern up here, I would say, okay, go back and redo this here and run me 2 columns, create me another tab, just hit this bottom right here, this little thing here, and you create another tab and run it and tie it into the sheet, into this first tab. Because I'm a tab guy, I may have 8 tabs going on, and then I consolidate them. You understand what I mean? Now, let's go to maintenance. This maintenance here is not running months, it's running 500 unit on 44 units. This one here is running 600 a unit because this is normal. 600 a unit on the whole shop. Okay, 600 a unit is about right. Because don't forget, you're basing this on the premises that you put money in when you buy it. You're going to bring it right up to date. It's going to be right, you're going to take rents and start renovating. Now, you could be $1,000 a unit. Hell, it could be anything. But you always bring it up. That's the theory. So this is the management fee. It's 5%. Now, you could get 6% at the end of the day, but don't put it in here if you're trying to get your numbers up. If they'll drink the juice on 5%, give them the 5%. Now, if you showed it to the seller, put 6% in. Now, the payroll, in this case, is $1,000 a unit for the 44 unit. You know what? I don't know what the payroll should be, so I'm scared. So I'm putting 44,000 in anyway. And then I'm putting 66 here, about 1,000 per unit almost. So you got the other. Usually I use these to round off my numbers, by the way. But I didn't round off this number. This one I did. 243 equals a value of $1 million. Okay, yeah. Let's pull this up and let y'all look at it. Now, so property management, other. Total expense is 217 and 290. Look at the difference. You understand? Because this one here is the full shot from maintenance to utilities, everything. It's also the full rent. But this one actually did better. It got 243. In other words, the first column with the lower rents came out better. This is 223. Now me, I usually take, let's say I want a $2.5 million value. Like, I kind of play with my numbers a little bit to get what I want. You see this here? I really would like a 2.5, let's say if I want to round it off to 2.5 million. I could round it off by playing with this number right here, or I could play with this payroll number a little bit.
What is other? Just
Other is administrative, legal, and audit. It's like a capture of everything that's remaining. But for all practical purposes, I'm going to leave it like this and say that the value is $2,007,000 and $2 million. But let me show you how I would normally do it. Let's say that my maintenance, if I wanted to make some adjustment, and I'm very careful about where I might make an adjustment. But let's say I had 500 a unit on that. I'm going to still do the 500 because they are, I must admit, they're really nice. Now that's $2,551,000. So, okay, wait a minute. I may can take this up a little bit more. I'm taking 550. Yeah. Take it 550. I want to make this 2.5 million. See, this is 2 million. So if I wanted 2.5, 2,000,005, and then if it's my cap rate, I believe is 9. So if I said plus 2.5 million times 9%, the number want this to be 225. I want this number to be 225. In order to get that number to 225, I can just increase this. Let's take it out and see what I need. Okay. NOI 252. So I want plus 252, 237 minus 225, 123. This is how I do my numbers every day. So now I got 225, but I may not have 225. Let's stretch it out. See, it's 225, 28. So I want to take this number here, this other, and I'm going to say, okay, 27, 237. I know what that. 27, 237.28. Bam! That number now is even. I close my holes up. I got my perfect number. I got my 2.5 million. That's what I wanted. That's fine. Let me get rid of this. I don't need this anymore. So y'all see what I do in the morning if I'm drinking my coffee. Bam! I'll be doing like this early in the morning. And y'all say, man, what are you doing? Okay, I'm busy. Okay, so we look at this column here. So it's 243 is my NOI. They give me a 2,000,007. My mortgage is 2,000,001. I have mortgage costs of 64,000. I have fix up and debt service of 195. Now my escrow is 151, so I got about $44,000 worth of fix up. The truth is I have no fix up. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, the landscaping, lay it out, do something, you know, you got to spend some money. Okay, so I borrowed, it's 243. Debt service 151. Cash flow is 91. Debt coverage ratio is 161%. That's cool. That's really good numbers. You understand? Total expense per unit is $31.95. I would never go with that. This is $4,000 because this is normal. This is abnormal. It's a net lease, the rent's low, so it's abnormal. You can explain it. 80% is my loan to value ratio. The truth of the matter is I can take it to 90. I can take it to 90% if I want to. I got a lender that will loan me 90%. That's your power.
Yes.
Either you got it or you don't. Is that the power? You know somebody that can do some fancy stuff and stand on their head for you? You say, look, see? They say, well, hell, if I wish I had somebody like that, then, you know, I'd be rich. You understand what I mean? You got to know the marketplace. And it's studied because it changes. Think about it. It wasn't like this 5 years ago. IFF wasn't in here. They moved in March of last year. Capital Partners, they just came in. They just got $100 million for Detroit, and not one person. I don't know anybody know about it. Ain't nobody said one word about it. They just gave us a $5 million commitment out to 100. That's the first one they did. They're about to lose the whole thing, and HUD gave it to them. We keep going. 2,000,007 is the value. This 2,000,007. Let me show you this, class. The 2,000,007. Look at the formula. Time 0.09. You see that? Now, where did that 09 come from? You just pull it out of the sky. Let me tell you how you lose your ass. Excuse me. You get a foreign appraiser to come in and say the cap rate is 11. Do you know what happened if they turn this cap rate to 11? Your deal is dead. And how easy is that? Very, very easy. I'm going to ask you a question. If I'm going to argue before the lady downtown about my property taxes, you think I'm using 9 cap rate? I'm using 11 cap rate. I'm bringing them down, buddy. You get an appraiser from Garden City that's going to come here and appraise. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think potentially could happen? Do you understand why you got to argue that and ask the question about the appraiser? You've got to sit there and argue, who's the appraiser? You know somebody, See, we ask me that question. You know what I'm saying? But not that appraiser's going to do something stupid for you and lose their license, no. And not be able to appraise for no banks, they ain't no fool. Right. But you can sit back and argue with them and say, well, why is it 9%? Here's why. I'll tell you why. 9%, and I can prove it. Now, this is what you call a debt constant determination and a cap rate determination. You do the debt service first because part of it is part of the formula for the cap rate. So the interest rate is 6%. It's 25 years. It's calculated in months, not years. So the debt constant is 7.73. You got that? So now here's the cap rate. How much down? 20%. Although we ain't putting nothing down. But it says 20%. Because they give an 80% mortgage, it's 20% down. It's easy. The mortgage is 80, 20. If the mortgage is 75, how much is down? 25. Okay, and then you calculate different. So it is 20 at 14%. So this is 20.2 times 14%. The 14% is what is the yield that somebody wants to invest in that property. 14% is pretty good at the edge of the city, don't you think so? Mm-hmm. If it's 2 blocks, I'm telling you where the big deal is. But if it's well located, it's a good thing. It's fully finished at least. Not the condition it is in now, which is not bad, by the way. You understand? But I'm talking about the grass cut, the flowers, everything, the sprinklers going. 14% is good. They'll do 12. So say 14. People want opportunity in the trade. Something a little better, kind of a little better, kind of a little better. You know what I'm saying? Especially some of my friends from other countries. But anyway, So this here is saying, this is 7.33. So this formula should say this times this. That's the formula. This times this. And that's the formula right there. Right there. Okay. That comes to 8.99. That's good enough. 8.99 is close enough to 9. Now if it say 9.04 or something, it ain't going to work. That's what it said. It said 9.04 because I had this at 15. Look what happened when I put it at 15%. It goes to 9, oh, it's even more, 9.19. That's a huge jump. No, I can argue, now you're controlling your deal. You've got to argue with an appraiser that the 14% is good. This is how you make your deal in your head, and you're the expert. The appraiser looks out the rear view mirror. Herbie, you going to buy this for this? Yes. Well, it must be worth it because you said it. Whatever you do establishes value. You're the developer. Everything depends on you. Every single decision. And you got to figure out what they want before they tell you. And leave yourself enough flexibility. Leave yourself some room in there. Because they zap you, then all of a sudden you didn't figure, what did you didn't leave nothing in there as a cushion. Now you're about to blow your deal. You understand what I mean? Unless you do something stupid. Or go sell it off at some ungodly price. So the price is $2,700,000. I can borrow $2,060,000 under 80% loan to value. The mortgage cost is $64,000. It worked out like that. This is $95,000. There's $1,009,000 in the deal. Now what you do not see is my fee. It's in the deal, believe me. You don't show your fee. Never show your fee. Because anybody gonna ask. They may think, but they ain't got the guts to ask. And I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about the lender. You understand? Like, what did you make it? They may be looking at me thinking, what you making? You understand what I mean? I said, I don't know what you're looking at. Hey, buddy, how you doing? What you making? What you making, baby? I want to ask you, but they can't ask me that. It'd be unethical. I won't tell you.
What's your sales price? What's the seller want?
Oh, the sales price. Oh, we forgot about the sales price, didn't we? Now, this is the first piece of this transaction. Let's make sure you understand. 80% loan to value. The value is $2,700,000. We can borrow $2,160,000. That's because we're going to structure this and walk in the bank as an owner, day one. We're going to walk in the bank as an owner.
And not a borrower.
And not, no, as a borrower.
But
Not a buyer.
Not a buyer.
There you go, not as a buyer. Because if you were the buyer, they're going to want,
20% down.
no matter what the price is.
Right.
So we got to do a deal that gets us in. Y'all following me now? We're on the same page? We got to do a deal that get us in the deal without putting any money down. And even if we got no credit, it ain't going to be in the deal. We could structure, turn around and get a big dog in, get paid and walk. That's not my intention. You understand what I mean? Because I love this property. So let's go to phase 2.
Can we get a copy of that?
Yes. Yes. As being in this class, you actually get a copy. Now I need to think about, yes, with the formulas. Now, you'll never see this formula again though.
Yeah.
Because I ain't never seen a net lease building and all this kind of crazy stuff. But it is a performer, you can get a copy of it and all of that stuff. I need to do a little thinking about something about, I just got to make sure it's cloaked well and know, I think it's cloaked good enough. But let's now go to the gift sale agreement. Now, I'm writing a letter for him to write to me. I'm going to say, give me this letter and I'll sign it. But I've just made it and I sent it to him. Now, I did change some things around. Hold on just 1 minute. Just give me 2 minutes. This is masterful. And you will now get hooked on drinking coffee at 3 in the morning doing deals. You understand? Because you get excited about this kind of stuff. How about at 3 o'clock you figured out how to get rich? How you think you're going to figure how you feel at 4:45 when you go back to bed? You understand? You won't be sleeping. You'll be dreaming all kind of dreams. Okay, now he's going to write this to me. Carmen Strather, Director, Detroit Bundle Group. Now, we created Detroit Bundle Group and it's a 501c3. Now, I just found out that it ain't gonna work. Don't worry. Instead of Detroit Bundle Group, I need another 501c3. They got $500,000 in assets, and Detroit Bundle Group doesn't have it yet. So I'm gonna make Bundle Group one of the players in it. But I got another more stronger COH. So it was good talking to you yesterday about Detroit Bundle Group, mission to help reinvent Detroit neighborhoods. You have to establish intent, number one, that's what it said. We understand how important saving buildings like Fenton and Lenore is because once they are gone, they cannot be replaced for under $100,000 per unit. In this regard, we are happy to help you acquire the property fully improved and leased and propose a bargain gift sale to help you accomplish this. We agree to donate to you 30% of the property for $1 and sell to you 70% of the property for $2 million, less costs and certain agreed upon improvements. Our net for the 70% shall be $1,700,000. So now you know what my fee is, right? $200,000. So it can't be 200. It has to be 190 now. I lost 10 grand just that quick. You see what I mean? We are conveying the 30% to you today because we will allow you 180 days to acquire the 70% remaining interest. We wish you the very best and you work Detroit State like Detroit. If your organization is agreeable above, please indicate by your signature below. And he signs, and then Detroit Bundle Group signs. Now, then the next thing we do is an assignment of membership interest in it. He now signs this document. The building is free and clear. And once he signed this document, I now own 25% of his deal. Can you believe that? He just turned over to me 25%, $500,000, some gigantic number. Now, if I don't perform, I got to give him the interest back. But I can't put that in writing. If you do that, it's dead. That's a continued gift. They ain't a gift. If you establish that as an intent, you just lost. And God forbid somebody get a hold of it, IRS get a hold of it. I mean, if you did it, sanity would come back. He would tear that shit up and get rid of it. Do you understand what I mean? Do you understand what I mean now, class, when I say it's a contingent gift? In other words, if you don't close, you give it back and you lose and you can't do it. No, that's just a deal you just made. That ain't no gift. What's your intent? Establish intent. The undersigned, Ashland, who owns 7 Mile, Michigan Limited Liability, located at so-so, hereby donate, assign, and transfer 30% of the membership interest and ownership of donors' property to Detroit Bundle Group, blah, 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 blah. Tax ID number, you got to put your tax ID number in there. Detroit Bundle Group agreed to abide by the conditions of the operating agreement attached, got to put that there. This assignment shall have the right to acquire the remaining 70% for $2 million on or before 180 days from this agreement's date of origination. Now, the lender is going to want to see this assignment. They're going to want to see proof that you own it. I'm going to show the lender this. The lender doesn't see my fee. Do they? No. And they ain't going to ask. You understand? I hope they don't. If you watch this TV thing, they'll be asking me. So I saw you on TV last night, right? I said, did you really? You got to be joking. They said, yeah. Do you have me so far, class? I hope I ain't taking you too fast because this is some heavy stuff. This is like, I can't tell you how valuable this is. It's worth way more than $1,000. It's worth way more than anything else. I can't even give you a number. You understand? And there ain't nobody going to teach it to you unless they didn't done it. They'd be scared to do it. They wouldn't know if they could do it or not. Right. You understand what I mean? I've done it a half a dozen times. Now, I'm not finished. I got a consent. Notarize. Commission agreement. Oh! Yes!
Sweet living.
Now, pay me 10%. That's cool. I like it. Now, what do I do to get 10%? Now, first of all, if I get 200 grand, my partner's going to want to talk to me about something. You understand me? And not unless they get a nice piece of cash. And they're happy too. Because don't forget, everybody got their occupations. Mine is being a broker, putting deals together, so I'm working for everybody. You understand what I mean? So you always got to take it, the guy to work for you. You understand? Because don't forget, the guy that put the deal together got all the choices. You understand? There's a lot of people with money. You understand what I mean? You say, hell, there's a lot of people with money. You say you didn't want to pay? You control it. It's your deal. You went out and found it and put it together, got you a lender. Oh, I ain't showed you the lender part. So I called the lender up and talked to them, and lo and behold, they're not going to let Detroit Bundle Group, but they want a well-established COH and all of that. So I got in the one called Community of Hope. So I thought I would use them in this case. It was not my original plan, because I was going to do it different, but I'm sure my partner would understand and we'll still do plenty of other stuff. But I want to give sale, where is it at? Now this is out of bank. Oops, Jay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to show you. That's Jason's deal. Letter from bank. Oh no, that's the same deal. Gift sale agreement, promissory note, document. Okay, let me find it. Y'all saw Jason's deal. Y'all wasn't supposed to see that. I'm sorry, Jason. That was on something else. You ain't seen that, even yourself, have you?
No, sorry, no.
I was gonna. That's the letter the bank is giving us on Regency.
Okay.
I wish I had, and we'll talk about that one next week. Here we're buying from a nonprofit. They own it 100%, and we're going to buy it from them, and going to make $750,000. You understand? Maybe I should take that part out of the. Okay, that's what.
Edit it out. Be on the floor, cutting room floor.
Oh, oops. What did I do? Okay. So this is the letter to the lender. This is after he told me I couldn't do the deal the way I wanted. This is his deal. Talk to him. It's good talking to you today about financing Fentanyl North 6A unit development, 3 buildings, 224, blah, blah, blah. The house, they house traditional and homeless population. The remaining 24 units are being negotiated with Urban Promise Inc., who would do the exact same thing as Travelers. In other words, I get 2 checks, one for $29,000, one for $10,000 a month. Don't have to mess with any tenants, never rent, not now. And this could go on for the next 20 years. You understand what I mean? Communities of Hope, this is the address, already own 25% of the property through a gift sale. So listen, look what I'm doing, class. I am sending the lender a letter for financing, but I'm telling you we already own it. Right. Up front. I don't have to bullshit. We already own it though. Right? You got to get clear. Now, Communities of Hope, I got to negotiate with Communities of Hope because I haven't not done that yet. They got to give Detroit Bundle Group some of this deal, but they're the only one I can probably go through because they want a balance sheet and they want somebody got a lot of experience. I mean, and they will only do business with 501c3s. In other words, they will not loan you and me money, a non-profit, or for-profit. They only loan, but they will allow, but look what I've done. COH brought in its financial and operating partners, Premier, Echo, and Strather. They together form COH Partners at Michigan Limited Liability, the 100% buyer. COH Partners recently closed a loan for $1.5 million with Capital Impact Partners, which is across the street from them. So I got to associate this. They say, yeah, well, you just close with our partners because they do deals together. So all of a sudden, I'm a nice guy. They are looking to finance the property secure a 10-year term loan of $2,160,000, 80% loan to value amortized over 25 years. Now I made a mistake. Okay, I got 80% loan to value. Okay, that's all right. It doesn't matter. Because the real thing is, whatever the difference in how much cash you get, oh, that's my man O'Neill. Hold on for 1 minute, y'all, real quick. Hey, O'Neill, I'm in class, my man. How you do? It's great, man. I'm here with like 12 students, and I said, this is my man. I got to holler at him. I'm going to drop by this week, me and you have us some champagne, okay? Yeah, we'll talk about that, and we'll settle the deal with them. Okay, bye-bye. It's my main man who will never let you down. He's the last one to let you down. She's in the funeral business. They're looking to finance property and secure a 10-year term loan of $2,160,000, 80% loan to value and amortized over 25 years. Since the properties are net lease, they provide, now this is very important, class, they provide a higher NOI than the traditional apartment building with vacancies and collection costs. In order to eliminate any risk, if the net lease should end, the borrower proposed a $100,000 debt service reserve for 60 months. Which will give the owner sufficient time to re-rent the premises. The properties are large and very well located. Attached, please file a performer and refinance shows the net lease number as well as the traditional numbers. Please feel free to call me if you have any questions. So let's go back to this thing again and take one more look at it all of a sudden so we can understand. This is what we're talking about. We want to borrow $2,160,000. We don't know what the interest rate is, but 6% should be okay. This produces a cash flow of $90,000. A $90,000 a year cash flow, right? There's $195,000 fixed up in debt service, so we have to leave up $100,000. Well, that's $95,000. So the $95,000, my partners get $95,000. So they may say, okay, we take the $95,000 into ownership, and you can keep your fee. It's okay, as long as we get something. If not, I gotta, share some of the fee. Because, this ain't a one-man party now, right? Everybody got a party. Yes, sir? Now, so what happens, I haven't figured out what ultimately I'm going to do. One of the things that is important, class, deals that we are doing in class, those of you who want to participate, you can come in under extremely favorable terms. Under very favorable terms. And those who want to do it because that is limited to everybody here. You understand, in this room. Now you could form your own LLC and you could bring in a partner and they can do whatever. But that's you. And look what you get. You understand? Because the money comes back. This is the way that we were doing the deal, and to me it makes sense. You put up money and you get your money back, or you leave it in, it doesn't matter, but you get 50% on it. So if you put up $10,000, you make $5,000 and get your 10 back. You understand? Now we have to come up and say, what is this property worth 100%? So what's the down payment? So we have to come up with a number, and the number should be something that's so spectacular till almost anybody say, yeah. And this should be like 50% return or something like that. 40, it should be a very good return. So I would put a number on here of maybe 200,000. Would be the total. Wait a minute, hold on for a minute. That's not correct. Let me go over this again. I haven't determined what the number should be. It probably wouldn't be 200,000. Probably would be less. I didn't take it as far as the syndication is concerned, because I'm not sure it's going to get syndicated. I'm not exactly sure it would get syndicated, because, but it could. See, what happens is that when you go to the bank, they want to know, they want to see your financial statement. And if you're in deals, like I got 10% of this deal, I got 15% of the deal, I own these 3 houses free, because I got this. Then you're an investor, you in there, you rocking and rolling. That's what they want to see. They want to get comfortable with that. Because all of a sudden you want to sit up and borrow $500,000 from them. So yeah, I'm in deals, I did this one, You want to be involved in the deals in whichever way that you possibly can, which leads to your resume and your credibility when you're trying to do business with them. Now there should be a number here that's very comfortable. If we get in this deal without putting cash in, if the deal makes $90,000 a year, what is it worth? Theoretically, the deal could be worth $500,000. But, if we had a mortgage for $2,160,000 and it was making $90,000, we could be worth $3 million even. It could be worth 10 times that number, but it's definitely could be worth $500,000. Whatever, so the number that the class should be something that is exciting, and I didn't give it enough thought. Why 200 is a great number for the 91, I have to base it on the 73, because it is the more conservative approach. Now this 91 may stay in forever, but the 73 you got to take and really figure. You understand why too, right? Because it's got to be more conservative. So If that was here, let me just try it like this. Let's see if I can arrive at a number. It still would be 200. That would be 35% return. How about if it was a 40% return? I like to be a nice guy, but what happens, that's 185. If it was a 50% return, I think the return of 35 or 40 is probably okay. Otherwise, you overdo it. Now, we're not looking to sell off no big chunk anyway. I mean, you know, you have little piece, you know. There's a lot of deals. There may be 6 deals that we do, and you all can participate in the deals in some way. What time we got, 7:42?
742, sir.
Okay, I asked you a question. Anybody got any questions about this deal? How you get it? Just let me know you want to be in it. We'll put you in it. We have to come up with an amount of money that makes sense. I think a 40% return is the cheapest that you should probably go, though, because it still got to make sense. Because, see, y'all see me just create the deal, and there's no money in the deal. You understand what I mean? But the deal has value. The deal is worth $750,000. In other words, there's $1 million on this little bitty deal. On this little bitty deal, there's $1 million. Suppose you all found the deal, and you brought me the deal. You said, Herb, here's the deal. And I said, well, I like this deal. Let me run the deal. Then you're in the deal. No money, no nothing. It's your deal. You understand what I mean? You go for the ride. So, now just want to take a couple more minutes and just get questions. Anybody got any questions on this deal?
I have a question about the appraisals.
About the appraiser?
On commercial deals like this, are they, do the banks allow you to have contact with the appraisers or kind of interact
No.
a little bit?
The banks do their own appraisal. So you want to know how do I maneuver?
Yes.
First, I'm going to meet the appraiser. Because you got to know I'm a badass guy myself. And I give him the determination of the cap rate. I want to know, what do you think the cap rate is? You got to be joking. I mean, I'll sit here and go over the cap rate with him and give him wealth of information. He may not be up on the market like me. I say, here, this sold for this sold for that. I give him the information. Now, you give it to him in the envelope. Information. Here's a survey. Here's some information on the property. In that envelope is the purchase agreement. Because he may not know what the sales price is. That's very helpful. Oh, this is where you're trying to. Let me see. I can get here. See, he makes everybody happy now. He makes the lender happy, because the lender can make the loan. He makes me happy. And everybody's happy. If he don't get there, the loan may not be done. I don't want to ever see his ass again. You understand what I mean? But how do you ensure that it's done? Are you going to take a gamble? It would be so stupid. You would lose your money. You just would never be qualified to be in this business if you don't sit back and nail every single step down. Can't take a gamble like that. Be the stupidest gamble you ever said. Oh, the appraiser coming out. I hope he does okay. Your life depends on it. Your commission depends on it. Your future depends on this. Your girlfriend, everything. You don't get no money. Yes, sir.
The appraiser is picked by the bank.
Yes.
How do you make contact with?
Well, no, he's got to call me to get inside the property and all of that. And I'm going to meet him out there. And I'm going to talk to the bank. What appraisers do you use? You're going to give me somebody from Grand Rapids?
Right.
Oh, who? Tell me about an appraiser. You understand? Herb, this appraiser, they only use one appraiser. Well, let me talk to him. My man, what do you think the cap rate is? How do you determine it? What do you think this is? What do you think? What do you think? I'm going to figure out what he's going to come in at. I said, you did what? Let me see your cap rate. And you want how much for on your reserves? See, I got them. I'm going to figure it out and say, this is your appraisal, eh? Now I got to figure out, do I give him some comps? How do I do it? I got to get in his head. I don't care. I got to figure out a way to get a hold of him, wherever the hell he is. Who is the appraiser? He got to call me. I got to get him. And sometimes it may not be CO. It's so easy. But he come out there, I pick him up from the airport, whatever. You understand? Take him out for a drink. It's only going to go so far, though, by the way. And you only want to go so far with him, too, by the way. You don't want to go too far with him. You understand? Because you don't want, Nobody's saying you've been bothering them or anything like that.
The information packet is helpful though, right?
The information package is what you give him. It got the survey. It got the purchase agreement. It got everything in it. It's enough of everything in this package. You say, well, hell, this is a hell of a deal. Right? Now, we are looking to do some syndication. So those of you who are interested, I'd like you to dive in this week because next week by this time, things could change. I got a few minutes. With your permission, I'd like to talk about Seven Tail. We talked about it last week, didn't we? But for those of you who wouldn't, I just like to because I think this deal is fixed to get done right now. We're at the edge of this one here. Oh, here's a possibility.
That was the one that got us in trouble. I'm gonna try Heatherwood.
Not Heatherwood, it's too big. Heatherwood is like $5 million, y'all, and to play around with that, you got to have one gigantic checkbook. Let's keep it modest, because I like for some of y'all to play. Okay, now this is Greenfield Regency. We're buying Greenfield right now. I'm going to give you the really quick story on it. Right now, there's a mortgage on it for about $1.1 million that my partners actually own the mortgage, but the mortgage was created by Sterling Bank. So it says Sterling Bank, but whoever created the mortgage may not be the investor. So my partners bought the mortgage and going to have Sterling Bank service the mortgage. So Sterling Bank is going to confirm the mortgage amount of $1.1 million. All right? So it's 73 units. It's located at 9601 Greenfield. So here's the rents. Notice these rents are way less than other rents because of the location.
Right.
And then you get I got a vacancy factor. Why 33? Oh, this is supposed to be an old one. Wait a minute. I changed that.
The current vacancy is 33%.
Okay, hold on for a minute. Let me, there's another deal out that's more current. Fenton, consolidated construction budget, T12 Perry Properties, Regency, pro forma. Look like that would be Regency pro forma is what I want. That's the last one I worked with, must be it. Oh my God. Actually it's not that hard. I just go to Regency, which is the last file I have. Come on, open up. We ain't got all day. Okay, this is 312. This is it. This is it. Now y'all see. It's already open. Okay, just open it again. Here we go. Now, y'all ready? Okay. So, these are 73 units. Other income, 10% vacancy. So that's the effective gross income. Now, just so happened, got a lot of studios, 25. It's really 26, so there's one there. But I just met with not Team Mental Health, but on 10 Peterborough, Detroit, DC, Detroit. They help the people who are homeless and all that kind of stuff. But they're rented just like Travelers Aid do. They'll do a net lease and rent 25 studios, and they take all the studios. You understand what I mean? This is good news. And they got subsidy. So they pay good rent, and it'll be more rent than this. So you got property taxes, you got utilities, maintenance reserves. Now look at this maintenance reserve. Oh, let me just put it back bigger where it was.
Pop back to the other one.
Oh, I went to the wrong one? I got off. Oh my God. Oops. 3.6, 3.12. I was on the wrong one. Okay. So what actually happens here is that it has a net income of 147. Look at the expenses, almost 2 to 1. That is something. It is 2 to 1, isn't it? No. Yeah. That is huge, isn't it? Do you see what those expense ratio is? That's why this is serious business. You better put your expense in. Suppose you just be fooling yourself and scamming, and you're going to buy the building. Well, you're going to be running it. You're going to scam yourself. You understand? So put your numbers in. Don't scam yourself. Thou shalt not scam thyself. The debt service 87, so it's 60 grand a year cash flow. 39.92 per unit. These are studios. Obviously, they don't run the same. You know what I mean? So you can live with that. That's 4,000 a unit anyway. Okay. Now, the first mortgage term, all of this. So I got 22 years rather than 25. They may not want to go 30 years over there on Greenfield. Whereas at the edge of the city, you get a longer term. Look, they want a 15% for real here. So this is a 9.5% cap rate rather than a 9%. Do you see how that cap rate went up 50 basis points? Why? Why did it go up? Because of what? Location. It's located on Greenfield in Chicago. That's okay, but no. A person would rather live on Grand River and Telegraph. You understand what I mean? So total expense. So the price is this. The stabilized value is $1,550,000. We're going to say we're going to pay $1,350,000. So cash is $270,000. Okay, $270,000 down. First mortgage assumption, home funds $2,700,000. $1,300,000 is the acquisition. Excuse me. $1,500,000 is rehab. Developer's fee $275,000. Did I tell you all about that? $275,000. And others 75 grand. So this is $2,750,000, $2,750,000. So let's go down a little bit more. We're going to refinance it for $1,350,000. The real deal is probably not in here. I'm not sure I can tell y'all right now. I'll tell you in a minute. Acquisitions $1,350,000. The equity is $135,000. They want 10% down. So when I go to refinance it, they say we want 10% equity. So we got to say, okay. So the mortgage is $1,215,000. The NOI is $147,000. Debt service to cash flow. Cash on cash return is 30%, 6%. 36% based on $270,000 down. How much is the cash flow? The cash flow we said is $48,000. That's not 36%. Couldn't be. This is based on how much down? That's not 36%, I tell you that. Is B50 to B46? B50 to B46 is equity. Oh, the equity is $135,000. Based on the real amount of $130,000, the equity in this deal is $135,000 down. So it has a 36% cash on cash return. These deals have great cash flows. Now, it just so happened that somebody in this deal might also get their full amount of their money back, because there is $500,000 to $600,000 that actually flows out of the deal that's not apparent looking at it. Now, I'm going to pretty much wrap up what we're talking about right now. And has anybody got any questions? Because we're going to wrap the camera up, because I want to talk to them about something. Okay, anybody got any questions? Okay, let's wrap it up. Thank you all very much. Give everybody a hand.